I'm hoping everything connects and works well. Please work, YouTube.
Says
Okay.
live.
Yay! It says we're live, but hopefully, I know there's that 7-second delay between hitting live and it going over on YouTube. Although I have to admit, I am very happy with how this month's thumbnail looks, so I was okay having the little delay seeing that.
It was very cute.
Thank you. I'm very proud of how that one came out. And we are officially live. I can see the comments. I can see everything. Where this is great. Perfect. And let's see if I can do the intro. I always lose it. Where'd it go? Yay!
Yay!
Trying to be all official. I love that. Anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
Welcome to the Cozy Mystery Book Club's August live stream. I am so happy to be sitting here sitting live virtually. Let's go with that. That makes grammatical sense somewhere. But I am so happy because Annie and Paula are absolutely adorable. They are so sweet, so thoughtful, and I'm so appreciative that I know them and that they said yes to joining this month. And I am going to post their information right now. So we have Paula, and this is her Instagram handle and everything. So you can follow her there. She has her website, and she is starting the newsletter. And then little Miss Annie over here also just had her newsletter go out with some very big news. So I'm going to ask her to tell y'all what's going on because I am very proud of this woman. And if you're not signed up for her newsletter and you haven't been on her Instagram, you missed the update. So I'm going to kick it over to Annie to kick things off.
Okay, well, I was it last week? I don't know. It's been a blur. I officially signed with Gemma Halliday Publishing, and I am going to be releasing next year in March my first book, which is Resort to Murder. And then we're hoping to release the second book. She wants to release it right away in the summer because it's set in the summer. I know. She wants to release my second book in the summer and then the third book in the fall because each of them are set in a season. So,
Girl, what are you doing on here? Go get out of here and get to write. I'm so excited.
I dream about my book. I don't sleep because I'm constantly thinking about it. I have notes all over my house. They're in my phone. I always keep little notebooks everywhere. Yeah, it's constant ideas. So yeah, we're doing like final edits on the first book, and she is absolutely amazing. I mean, Jem is like a best-selling author herself, and then she started this publishing company. So I am it's so surreal. I'm still floating.
Yeah, I am so excited for you.
I love that you guys get to say, I knew her when. Oh, now she's on the New York Times bestseller list. I got to see her then. I remember back when she was a guest host. So excited.
Well, you guys were two of the first that I even told. So I called Paula and I'm like, I haven't even told my family yet, except for Brian. I'm like, but guess what? So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled, and I'm so excited that she's taking a chance on me as a new writer and everything. But yeah,
timeline. Holy cow.
Yeah. So 3 years worth of books in 1 year. So I'm going to be busy. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, so sweet. I know everyone's so excited for you. Everyone's going, we got to read this book. We're going to already pre-order. We're ready for this.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. Yeah. Paula and I are actually going to be releasing our books. Well, her second book will be about the same time as this one. So thank you so much, everyone. So yeah, I'm beside myself. So yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Sorry, this weird sunlight from the windows. I'm trying to get out of here.
Like a disco ball.
I understand. I was trying to figure that out as well. I mentioned earlier to Paula that it looks like my suitcase exploded in this hotel room. So aside from just utilizing the wonderful backdrop, I'm going, there's literally nowhere else in this hotel room I felt comfortable showing y'all with the computer angle. So I was hoping the sunlight wasn't going to be too bright. So when she mentioned sunlight, I understand that plight very well. So I'm hoping my sunlight is not distracting any.
And I'm, meanwhile, in my dark corner here, I have a window right here, and I've got a light on and a lamp on, but my purple office is like a Smurf cave. So Michelangelo, it's okay. That I look like a Smurf. I like Smurfs. We're good.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I have to say, like, I love the backgrounds you all have. I'm gonna lift up the computer. So this is a temporary backdrop because
Beautiful.
I'm here for BoucherCon in San Diego. So enjoy the view while I have it. While I'm here this week. Next month, you're gonna be back with my autumn themed cozy mystery library. So I'm kind of jealous that you guys have your books on display because I don't have my cozies with me. I'm like, I have a hotel view.
I don't think I'd be complaining. That's pretty awesome.
It's beautiful here. I didn't realize just how much I was going to enjoy San Diego. I don't know who decided this needed to be the location for BoucherCon, but they're brilliant and they did a wonderful job with that selection. I'm very happy here.
Hey.
I was going to say next year, like if there's a event, I think it's next year. It's in Nashville, I want to say. I'm pretty sure BoucherCon. I was like, next year you guys could be featured authors with your books there signing.
Well, that's a 4-hour drive for me, so I am pumped.
You're like, it's possible. So next year you got Malice and then you got BoucherCon. Those are kind of the two main mystery events for readers and writers. So next time you guys are going to be signing at them, hopefully.
Yay.
For me, I am 3 hours from Seattle, where Left Coast Crime will be next year.
Oh, true. So
I'll be doing Left Coast and Malice, probably not BoucherCon.
Well, see, you need to fly to Indianapolis, and then you and I just road trip down to Nashville together. So
that's a great one too, though. I almost forgot about it. And then there is Sleuth Fest. So there are a lot of events that are mystery related, but those are always the one that come to mind instantly. Maybe that's just because of who I interact with. But I mean, Left Coast Crime, that's a big one. That's a big one. I'm sure you're going to have a fabulous time. Yes. Maybe Ellery Adams will be there. Who knows?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not sure what event she's done. I've never met her in person. I've met her online, but I have not met Ellery Adams in real life and in non-virtual worlds. See, again, because I'm traveling, I don't have my book to hold up, which is very sad. So I just have my note.
There you go. Mine's on my Kindle.
Apparently, I still have a note in there.
Where'd it go? I have the TBR. So technically speaking, we have the full list of titles. So you see it next to Survival of the Fritters and Double Booked for Death, because it is a beautiful book cover with the lighthouse on it. I have to say it's very visually appealing.
Yeah.
So we have this month's August book club read, A Killer Plot by Ellery Adams. I'm going to ask Paula first. What did you think of the book? Did you enjoy it? Or is there something you want to talk about in regards to the book tonight? Because there's a lot going on in this book, so I'm just going to kick it over to you.
I did. As I shared with both of you earlier, this is the first Ellery Adams book I have ever read, which is, again, for no reason other than there's just so many sheer amount of books to read. She's been on my radar, but I haven't read any. I very much enjoyed it. And I guess the first thing that I would like to talk about was that opening scene to me was just so hysterical. I went back and read it several times just because it's so dang funny that, Olivia walks into the grocery store and people are talking crap about her. She's got her big old bag of dog food on her shoulder and she just goes and slams it down on somebody's groceries and then pays for the groceries, take care of it. But I just thought that was hysterical.
I loved it.
It took me a minute with that scene because I wasn't sure what was happening at first. I'm thinking, if this is really odd, why is our main character bashing someone? This sounds so gossipy. And then she walks in and I realize, okay, there's our sleuther. Now this makes sense. Because at first I'm going, this isn't likable. This is horrible. This sounds very catty. And then I wrote this down. Sue Ellen, we never see this woman again, but I wrote down her name. Yeah. She says oughta and not and all these other things. And I'm going, there's no way this woman is a writer in their writers group. Yeah. So I was very happy when Olivia came in.
I know.
Yeah. I thought it was very funny. Very, very funny.
Everyone seems to, the comments are rolling in. So people liked that scene. So it took me a second, though, because, again, I wasn't sure where our sleuther was. But she paid for the groceries of the mean lady. So
She did.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and paid for them double because she knew those ones were ruined and the lady was going to need them again. So, and I agree with that, Meredith. Olivia had to grow a little bit on me too. And actually, in the end, I have notes that I would definitely read more of the series. But Olivia she's a little bit entitled. The stuff that she does, like parking wherever she wants in handicap zones or things like that.
That was one of my
regarding the leaf laws, that type of stuff. She's a little bit entitled,
right?
And yeah, but I didn't hate her. It's not like you read a book where you just can't stand the main character and there's no point in reading again.
So what did you, Annie, did you like her? Did you not like her? What did you think of Olivia? Because she seems as if she's a little divisive among commenters here.
Okay, so I've read this whole series, like way back when it first came out. I almost didn't read the second book because I didn't like her at first. But there was enough, she had enough redeeming qualities where like she wanted to help Harris, with his skin. And for Dixie to really, is that her name, Dixie? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why that just didn't sound right for a second. The fact that Dixie really liked her, and that she liked somebody like Dixie who was a little rough around the edges. It's like, okay, maybe there is a part of her that isn't really high and mighty, kind of thing. She does seem to be, she's a tough employer, but she seems to be fair. You know what I mean? There's enough of her where she does seem very caring that I thought, okay, and she did have it, like she was saying, the backstory with her mom that, she did have, which you shouldn't let your childhood define you, but still, she did have a terrible upbringing. So as you read the books, she really does grow on you, and she changes and softens and things like that. But at first I was like, oh my gosh, what a snot. And yeah, and I always picture famous people when I'm reading a book, so I can picture them. And as they're talking about, she's 5'11" and she's just this gorgeous with the blue eyes and the silvery blonde hair. I'm picturing like a Charlize Theron, kind of person. And all I'm picturing is her in those perfume commercials, where she's just floating along. And all I'm just picturing is Olivia floating along the sidewalk with her dog and, people kind of scared of her, in a way. But yeah, the first time I started reading the book, I didn't really like her that much. And then I reread it again and I started picking up on things. I'm like, you know what? She really is very generous, buying the books for Laurel's kids and, just different little things. Deep down, she really is a good person. I don't think she knows how to express it, kind of thing.
So I made a note because you mentioned you read this when it first came out. So the very first book, the one we're talking about tonight, was published June 1st, 2010. And as of 2017, there are 8 books in the series. So I say as of 2017, I don't know if she has a book 9 in the works, but there are 8 books at the moment. So you've definitely been a Ellery reader for quite some time.
Yep. I've read all of them except her 2 latest ones in 2 of her series. Yeah, I agree, Donna. It's over. So the way she ended it.
I had to go, I will admit, because I have not hid my love triangle feelings very well. I did go and read the book blurbs to find out, okay, this name is mentioned, so I know this is who she ends up with. So I did go and find that out. I needed to know for my own peace of mind. So I did look into the last book, and there was a honeymoon that she went on with a character. I don't know if you want me to tell you or not, but I did need to know before I could progress with the series. I was not in it for another Hannah Swenson love triangle. I can't deal with it. And I don't mind who she chooses either. I like him.
Yes.
I have to admit of a little bit of eye rolling as the triangle started.
But going back a beat, I wrote down this quote because Olivia says, "People think I'm odd because I'm rich and single and perfectly content." I didn't find her odd because of that. That was her comment of, "That's why people find me odd." I had the exact note that Paula had, where I was keeping track of where she was parking her car. She parked in the handicap spot, and the sheriff called her out on it, but he didn't actually do anything about it. And then she parked in the mayor's reserve spot because she thought, "Oh, well, he's probably already in by now, so it doesn't matter if he doesn't have his car here. I can park there." So she was doing a few things that myself, like, I always kind of have these moments of, I would never ever do this in real.
Right.
And it's one of those, it's harder for me to relate to somebody because I go out of my way to try and not do things like that. I mean, I would be heartbroken if I ever accidentally parked somewhere I wasn't supposed to. I'd feel so bad about it. And she was doing it deliberately. So when that would happen, I would kind of cringe. And that, like, those are the details where I'm going, okay, what's going to happen next? Is her car going to get towed? Is this going to play into the plot? Like, I started wondering what was going to happen as like a repercussion from those actions. But as of yet, she's kind of okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I even wondered, did the sheriff not do anything about it because she is, rich and important in town?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm kind of curious if that was one of those, okay, we're just going to let this slide because she's helping the economy of the town. She's helping employ people. We're just going to let this one go. But I mean, if somebody was handicapped and needed that spot.
It needed it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, the mayor was a little, I don't know what the fill in the blank word would be for that, but we're just going to let that dangle there. But again, it's reserved. It has his name on it. That's one of those, I would, go around I wouldn't, but that's just me as a person. So I think it's interesting that Ellery Adams tries to take on the quote unquote unlikable heroine or the unlikable main character. And I saw someone commented over on Instagram, and I want to make sure I say the correct user handle because I always want to make sure people get credit for their thoughts. But Cozy Up to Crime, and it was her photo I shared on the main feed, and it's so gorgeous. Beautiful. I love it.
Yes.
He actually pointed out that this is one of the first characters who's wealthy in a cozy mystery series, and I thought that was interesting because most of them are business owners. I mean, she has businesses, but they do try and keep the budget in mind. They're not living lavish lives, but I think Ellery Adams bit off a lot with this because you have Olivia with these quirky traits of being, the quote unquote unlikable, but then you also have her with the different background and having money. So I'm kicking that off to you guys. What do you think of that?
I'm trying to think of like somebody who doesn't really care about money, or I'll pay for this, or I'm going to buy that. And I can't think of anybody really.
Yeah, me either. That hadn't occurred to me, but that's very true.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I guess I sort of thought about it when I was reading because she has, she owns various buildings and businesses in town. She's got a restaurant. She's not involved in the restaurant except for sometimes to maybe do some paperwork and drink some wine at the bar.
Right.
But someone up here commented, because one of the things that I liked about Olivia is that she joined the writers group for the local area, and she's giving them some place to go for their meetings, which free of charge. I appreciate that. So she does sort of do some things that are generous and nice, but I think the comment up above was they bring out the best in her. Yes, here it is. They bring out the best in her, and this is where her friend group exists. So would you have joined the writers group? Would you be a part of this? What do you think?
Absolutely. A lighthouse keeper's cottage with a writers group. Yes. Bring it on.
Heck yeah. Right. With snacks. With good snacks from the fancy restaurant. Heck yeah. I'm all about that.
And the whole thing was very generous. She redid the cottage.
Right.
So they could meet there.
And the cottage that held a lot of bad memories. It was kind of like it was a new beginning for her too. Yeah. It's like she was wiping away that stuff that made her so sad that she hadn't touched in years. And this was a whole new beginning for her, but yeah. And I love that everybody in that group is different. you know, everybody has their own, you know, little different personalities and things.
Oh, I was trying to keep track of that because I was utterly fascinated by all of them writing in different genres. I love that. We have Laurel, who's the mom of two with the twin boys. She wants to write romances. Then you have Milady, which I'm pretty sure is that the name?
Malay.
Malay. I don't know. Why did I write Milady? I feel like that was one of those things where I just was, you know, trying to write my notes. Malay. I don't know why I thought it was my lady. This is what happens when you've seen my handwriting. So I loved her premise, and I'm trying to find the note because our main character, Olivia, okay, there it says Malay. That one's correct. I don't know why the other one just looked weird. Anyway, so she's writing a sci-fi, and as of the Fourth Wing came out with the dragon revival, and they're saying, why are you doing dragons? I'm thinking, let her write her dragons.
Right.
The griffin tamer, and they're trying to get her to think of different animals. So they come up with the poisonous winged viper. She gets really into it, and I thought that was so much fun. This has nothing to do with the mystery, but I loved the writing advice and comments they were having. I mean, the critique group doesn't necessarily, like, their meeting when how they help each other with their writing doesn't necessarily move the mystery plot forward, but I loved those interactions, and I loved her with the griffin tamer. I'm going, I want this book now. Can we get a little like side one over here for this?
But I did love their suggestions, especially when they were talking about Olivia's book. And I'm reading them thinking, oh, these are really good suggestions. Maybe I should, I'm going to write this down and remember this for my books,
Well, and I kept thinking as we were getting, short passages that, okay, there's going to be a clue for the mystery.
Yeah.
Somewhere, but
right.
No, there wasn't.
I mean, I always try and, okay, so when it comes to the mystery, we always have that second of, okay, we're going to be a little spoiler free, but we should just talk about the mystery. So if for people who want to, join in on this discussion, we're just going to end up talking about some of the spoilers here. But if you solved this mystery, you're brilliant. You can read minds. You're clairvoyant, because I don't think we had I didn't have a prayer of solving this mystery because
no,
the character who motivated the other character to become the killer, she's only in a single scene right near the beginning, and her interactions are part of a very different sort of mysterious narrative. So I didn't think to take her backstory and apply it to someone else. It was almost like a twice removed killer. So
right.
if you solved this, I applaud you.
100%. Yeah, I have notes. I had absolutely no clue. Mm-mm. I went back several times, including today again, to clarify things. And there's some things that I'm still not clear on. So this book, their bodies piled up. There was more than one, which I'm all here for. I like that. There was 3. I still have no idea why the number 2 guy was killed. None. So if somebody can clarify that for me, that would be great.
It was I reread the same passage multiple times. It had to do when Olivia was at the police station. She asked for clarification too. And apparently the idea was to try and set up Blake as the killer, but I don't understand that because Blake was supposed to be the 4th victim. So I don't understand how this was supposed to play into over here.
So wait, the first one wasn't the first one.
The first one was Harris, who invited Olivia to join the writers group.
Oh,
He was the celebrity. Yeah, Camden Harris. He was I loved Cosmo, his boyfriend. Cosmos was everything. So he's the very first victim. And again, this is a whole setup. This guy dies because they want to set up Blake. He didn't actually do anything wrong. This guy dies for no reason, really.
Yeah, and I loved him.
He was adorable. I thought he was great. He's the catalyst for this whole story. He has her join the writers group.
Right.
He started it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So the second one was Dean, right?
Jethro. Wait.
Yeah. So we had
they set up. So wait, Dean was the second one, the dad, right?
So we had the one who he fell down in the park. No, that's He was he was the second one. Dean fell down in the park. Papa Talbot there, because he was the one who wanted to do the new community park, and he wanted to dig up graves, which nobody seemed to actually have a problem with, which I have multiple questions on. People just thought, yeah, we can dig up bodies and move them, no big deal.
I mean, Olivia was the only one who had a problem with that.
And then after him, we had the third guy, Max, who Olivia thought was the actual killer. So
Right.
once her suspect was gone, she was kind of going, now what?
Right.
And then we had Blake, who was supposed to be the fourth victim for Autumn. And again, I had to really think about this as I was answering you, because again, it's like boom, boom, boom. It's a very interesting timeline.
So Dean, being the second one, they wanted to take him out so Blake could take over the company.
Mm-hmm. So we had the older brother who was a cocaine addict, I believe, and he was passed over. But the motivation was, what's her name? It's something St. Clair. She has a very
Heidi.
Yeah, she has a very fancy last name. Yeah. So she's dating Blake. She's an up and coming actress, and then her father,
and he was horrible to her.
Yeah, the father decides to start killing people to help his daughter.
Yeah, to protect her, or let her. The haiku was that she would then get the sunshine if the tree was gone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep. So the motivation from each kill was very hard to figure out or make work, so it didn't sound contrived. I think it's very hard to find a balance where you have a killer who's not on the page, because he's not really someone she interacts with. There's not any suspicious. There aren't any moments where the dog doesn't like him, or she drops the groceries and he doesn't help her pick them up, or just something rude or whatever. We never had any of that, so I never had him on my suspect list. I think I kind of threw it out the window because I'm just going, there were a lot of characters, so I was just kind of along for the ride with this one. I lost track of them because, again, we had people who were at the meeting for the town hall with the new property who were introduced, and then we never saw them again. So I had no idea who the killer was.
Yeah. The only time she really mentioned him is when she went to visit Cosmo at the inn, and she, was introduced to the guy, and she's like, he just seemed kind of weird, and just said he was strange, and then it was like, there he was again, and that was it. So I thought it was kind of strange.
Yep. So we also have the different methods of killing. And then, you don't mess with the dog. I don't know if this is a new thing, because, again, it was published this is why I looked up the year, the 2010, because I'm going, you do not hurt the dog. And at least Captain was just kind of drugged, which is a horrible thing to say. He was just drugged, not a big deal. But you don't injure the dog. What are you doing? Oh,
I know.
Not a happy little camper. Is the sun coming at me?
I know. Mine's the sun's finally starting to set over.
I'll sit on an angle, maybe. How does that work? I was like, all of a sudden there was a line. I don't know why.
Yeah, you just have a streak.
Okay, maybe if I close it a smidgen. Okay, will this get rid of it? But they're the ugly hotel curtains. I didn't want to make you guys look at them.
And it's still there. It's coming. It must be coming from your light, because it's still there.
It's coming from inside the room.
The call is coming from inside the house. Okay, there we go. Bye, view.
Aw.
Dad.
Oh,
Dad. Shucks.
So another thing that I thought, I put a little quote down here that I thought really dated the book. And it was just one little sentence somewhere towards the end about, it was just, Brangelina will be old news. Well, there's going to come a time where nobody's going to have a clue who Brangelina is.
I know.
I just thought that was funny.
That, and when Camden, in the beginning of the book, talks about how he has however many followers on his MySpace.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't.
I was like, oh my gosh, MySpace, you know. And she was so amazed that Malay could look up something on her phone and find out information on her phone.
With the at the very end, she asked the guy, the captain, the chief there, if he had a phone with internet so he could look something up for her. That was great.
I loved it. Yeah. Her people know how bad Brangelina ended.
Oh, so should authors use pop culture references? Question mark.
Good question.
That's a good point, Chris. Yeah.
So this is something that I've actually thought a lot about, and mostly because I love Meg Cabot and she uses a lot of pop culture references, but I think there are some that are safe, such as movie references and TV shows where people can always go back and rewatch. But when it comes to couples like Brangelina, you don't know it's going to happen. So I think there's some things to try and kind of figure out, like, what is actually going to be cemented in history and what is still potentially going to change.
Right.
That's where I
the classics. You know what I mean? Like I reference like Lucy and Ethel.
Yeah.
In my book. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a few people who don't know who Lucy and Ethel are, you know, but I mean, the majority of people know it's from I Love Lucy, you know, something like that. But, you know, if you've got an obscure song lyric or, like you said, a couple or something like that.
I'm trying to remember which author this was, but it was someone, she writes young adult, and I listened to her on a panel at Y'all Fest several years back. She had a great answer to this exact question when it came to social media, because again, this was kind of like the MySpace reference. She created her own social media platform. So instead of having the MySpace or Facebook, you know, something that was going to get outdated, she had her own social media platform. So regardless of whatever was happening with, I mean, even Twitter is a dumpster fire sometimes now. Like, we're not going down that. Like, she had her own social media platform so that it never aged out of, you know, favor with the public, which I thought was a brilliant idea. That was something I don't think people do too frequently. I don't think I've seen that with other authors. Maybe they have done it, but she was the one who gave that answer. And I thought, oh, that is such a great idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
I think Becky Clark did that too in her latest series. She had a, you know what I mean? Like a face thing instead of Facebook. It was, you know, something else. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea.
This is true too. I think it does kind of encapsulate the time that the book was published. So if you want to go into the 2010s, you're right there. I guess. I mean, some things never go out of style.
Yeah.
Although flip phones maybe. Oh, flip phones. Okay, someone up above mentioned him. So at some point we do have to talk about him, because this is the potential point on the love triangle. The bookstore owner, Flynn. I mean, it was a cute idea with the bookstore. He had the wardrobes and he had the books inside to go with the Narnia theme he was going for. He was going to offer free coffee with purchases. But did you like him? Did you not like him as a potential love interest? Did you think he was an interesting character? What did you think of Flynn?
I didn't fully trust him. He was on my radar as the killer, because they were saying, I'll admit this, as was Harris for a little bit, for no other reason than, so they said single, you know, a single male who knows his way around a computer, who's literary. And I just thought, I was really suspicious of Flynn.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I did too. They get busy so quickly.
Right?
Exactly. I also had thought the mayor too.
That's true.
But then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because you think he would want the development. But I don't know. Yeah,
so I definitely was not a fan of him as my potential love triangle point. Again, I feel as if when it comes to cozy mysteries or certain books in particular, if somebody is a literature lover, you are supposed to relate to them. You are supposed to root for them. But he just rubbed me the wrong way. And so I was not a fan of Flynn. And I was just, not a fan of their potential romance. So it made me like the other potential romantic partner a lot more. So then I was really rooting for him, not just a little. I'm going, okay, get rid of, we don't want Flynn. The more she's with you, the less Flynn is in the story. So I also had ulterior motives for rooting for this couple. Okay, so it looks like other people, Sawyer, the police chief, or Flynn. Who did you guys, I can actually post this over on the YouTube link, can't I? Oh, so we have the poll here. So most people, I think, gave it 4 stars. That's the poll result. But I can include a poll now asking who your choice is.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. Flynn or Sawyer? I also love the name Sawyer because I don't think you see too many Sawyers.
No,
Yeah.
I like it.
Especially as a first name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I like that he's an artist and he writes. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's a mystery novel.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a police officer, chief, but he's still this like artistic soul.
Yeah, he felt
And
to me
he suffered loss too.
Where he just felt more real. Like
right.
Where Flynn felt a little bit smarmy.
Yes. Yeah. And he suffered loss.
I don't think a single person has said Flynn.
That's awesome.
Well, good to know we're on the same page here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the question should be why we all like Sawyer so much, why he resonated with us, because clearly something about this character was he was worthy of love with the main character. So it wasn't just a matter of us liking him as a character. We liked him as a character for our heroine, so that we're elevating him from the side story character level to full-on romantic partner and wanting him in more books. So clearly people are liking Sawyer. So what is it about him? Why do you like him?
You can go ahead, Paula.
Oh, I don't know. Like I said, he seemed more real. I loved that he was a writer and that he wanted to join the group. Not as, oh, I want to join the group to get clues and to get it all in your head, but he was, because he's a writer. I don't know. He just seemed, I think I would have to read more of the books to really be on board with any love interest, but I just liked him.
I think
Annie, you?
Yeah, I like that he was a writer. He also painted. You know, she loved his art that he did. And he also has suffered a loss losing his wife. So he could kind of relate to her in a way because she lost her mom and her dad and, you know, all of this too. So, and like you said, Flynn's just swarmy. There's something you just didn't trust about him, I guess. I don't know. But, and I'm sorry. I love that on his days off, he wore a rumply old Hawaiian shirt and, it wasn't like all perfect all the time. He was just a normal dude. And yeah, he seemed caring. He cared about her, and the captain liked him. So
that's very true. If the cozy companion, the dog or the cat likes the character,
that's right.
They're winning. But I like we're all kind of going with the traits where I think we appreciated the genuine nature of him. Yep. I think when Paula mentioned he wanted to join the writers group because he wanted to write his mystery novel, that is something I myself made a note of somewhere, because this could have been his chance to try and get in good with the other characters, try and pump them for information. And that wasn't the motivation. He just wanted to spend time with them. And that's so endearing. Right. I just wanted to be friends with this guy. I'm going, I'm going, Olivia needs to work a little bit to be worthy of him in my mind.
Yes.
Or maybe he's going to hurt me.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Come down off her pedestal a little bit.
Yeah.
He was so sweet too. He actually, I forget which character it was at the time, because again, there were a lot of characters, but he actually confirmed one of the suspects to Olivia, because she even said, is he a suspect? And he goes, well, I can see that information is free flowing in this small town. Yes, he is a suspect. He didn't play around or try and put her in her place. This is where a lot of the cozy mystery sleuthers and the police butt heads, he didn't do that, which I just appreciated. And this was just 3 sentences in the book, and I'm going, this is why I'm liking him.
Yeah.
Yep. So okay, other people's the comments are coming in. Oh yeah. So again, I love the cozy companion. We had our little poodle. He liked Sawyer. That's more points in his favor. But I love this comment. Where is it? You can't go wrong with a guy who wears a Hawaiian shirt.
Just a good old normal guy.
Oh my gosh. So I'm moving that. What was there? Was there anything else? I just want to make sure that for the comment, for everyone joining tonight, if there's something you guys want us to talk about, please comment. I want to make sure if there's something you're waiting for us to discuss, that it gets spoken about. But I also want to mention, because I don't want to forget, that tonight all of your comments are going towards a giveaway for a paperback copy of, I cannot believe how many books there are in this series, but the 13th book in the Key West Food Critic Mystery Series.
Wow.
Lucy Burdett. That's how I pronounce her last name. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. I know sometimes last names can be interesting when you think that this is how something's said, but it's not in actuality. But I say Lucy Burdett, and it is A Clue in the Crumbs, which is such a great title. So every comment tonight counts as 1 giveaway entry. So the more you comment, the better your chances are of winning. And I just love the fact that people want to stay with her characters, and they're on book 13. That just blows my mind. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that tonight. I didn't want to forget to throw that out there. Oh, so you love the camaraderie. So that's a good point. About what other characters did y'all love? Is there some character or scene you wanted to talk about, or any notes you guys had?
I love Dixie and Grumpy.
I was gonna say Dixie is my favorite character.
I love her. Yes. Yeah. She just, when at the end, when Olivia's sitting with Harris, and they're sitting at the counter, and, people are looking because, Haviland's sitting there with her, and she's like, she has a lot of problems, basically like, that's why she has her dog here, because, this is her service dog, and she's got a lot of issues or something like that. And it's like, I love her. She just shuts everybody down, and her rolling around on her roller skates, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I love her so much. The outfits and like, and she just tells Olivia like it is. I think she's like the only person not afraid of her, Yeah,
she wasn't intimidated by the money or the affluence with the family. Mm-hmm. She treated her like a everyday person of, this is how I am, regardless of who you are. This is just how I'm going to talk to you.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, it looks like Dixie is, again, it's hard to, as I'm trying to post the comment, more comments are coming up, pushing the thing I was about to click on. But basically, it looks like a lot of people are loving Dixie. So it looks as if this is a character that needs more on the page time in the coming up books in the series. But yes, we also have to acknowledge, I love that you guys are talking about this hobby, because I thought this was going to actually contribute to the mystery somehow. Yep. I was making notes on what she was finding with her metal detector on the beach. I was legit keeping track, because at one point she actually looked up the initials, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to play into something somehow. It didn't come back around. But she's out there treasure hunting or looking for things on the beach.
I know.
I'm thinking, and Annie may know this because she's read the whole series, that it's got to sometime, somewhere in the series, it's maybe going to play a role in a specific mystery. I don't know. Because I thought the same thing.
Shrugs.
Okay, she's finding something. There's something here is going to be significant. No.
That was my shoulder.
I'll be dead honest. I don't remember.
You don't.
I have no clue. I've read so many books.
But, characters need... It can't all be all about the mystery all the time. There's got to be these side arcs and hobbies and different things for, to build character development. So maybe that's all it is.
Yeah.
So I liked Laurel. I saw someone mention where to go. I just had the comment. So at the very end, when she dressed her kids up like little pirates and she put little goatees on them and she had them thank Olivia in unison for the books, I was just, oh, this is so cute. I had that actual physical reaction of happiness. I just adored that scene. And the fact that this woman has such a regular routine where she's running and he's going, yeah, usually she's here by now. I'm thinking, this woman, she's writing a book. She's actually taking care of herself and she's raising her kids as best as she can. I'm like, you are my new idol. I'm like, go Laurel.
And
I have to say,
some in-laws that are a little,
oh yeah,
you know.
Well, and her husband too in the beginning, and I don't know because we didn't really see him, but there was comments that made me think that he was like super controlling. So I was a little concerned for Laurel. I don't know if I need to continue to be concerned for her or not.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Some of his comments.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not really this is not a spoiler. I'm staying away from the love triangle component, but if you go read the book blurbs, the last book blurb, I believe, for book 8. So I'm just going to read the titles because I wrote them down. So book 2 is A Deadly Cliche. Book 3 is The Last Word. Book 4 is Written in Stone. 5 is Poisoned Prose. You got to love these titles. 6 is Lethal Letters. 7, Writing. I can't even read my own writing. Oh, Writing All the Wrongs, or Writing All Wrongs. And it's writing, WR, because you're writing a book. And then number 8 is Killer Characters. And if I'm remembering correctly, Killer Characters had the book blurb where it says Laurel's mother-in-law has terminal cancer or something, or the husband, or the mother-in-law is sick, and the husband was caught fooling around with her hospice nurse, and then the hospice nurse turns up dead, and Laurel is the suspect.
Oh.
So, and he's the smile, the knowing smile of somebody who's read the story. She Anyway, so I liked that little book blurb. I'm thinking because I like Laurel as a character, I might have to read the rest just so when I get to her book, I'm fully caught up and invested in her, because that seems like a very important narrative for her.
Yes. And Laurel does, that's what's great about, when you have a little bit of flawed characters in the first book, it gives them a place to grow, as the books go on. So you got to have that arc of, like where Malay's a little rough and doesn't want to open up about anything. And Harris is so quiet and, just all of that. It's like, yes. Ellen, I did too. Yeah.
I liked Harris though. He was so endearing.
Oh, no.
So I have to say, I actually made a note of this because I wasn't quite sure when I came across this in the book itself what to make of it, because one of the first things, or literally the first thing we hear about in Olivia's mind is about his rosacea. Nothing about his, even anything like his posture or his outfit or his eyes, something else. The first thing she thought had to do with his, not deformity, but like the one thing he was lacking in. And I felt kind of badly for him. Like that was the first thing she noticed and was going to hold on to. So I am literally hoping this guy kind of has that, coming out of his shell, and he has one of those she's all that beauty makeovers or something. Like I am rooting for this guy in the worst way because I want him to just be happy and be successful as a writer. But I hope rosacea isn't the only thing people notice if there is somebody out there in the world who has it, that they don't just look at that.
Well, unfortunately, that's what happens. And when people do have that, they're so self-conscious. My son had acne really bad when he was a teenager. And even though his friends didn't know, close friends and family, we didn't really pay attention to it. He was so self-conscious about it and was worried that that's the first thing people noticed. Well, of course, when he finally was like, I hate this, and I'm going, okay, let's get it fixed. Let's, let's work on this. He internally was like, this is horrible, where, it means more to them than maybe it does to some people. But then there were those jerks in school that did say things, or, you know what I mean? Because kids are cruel sometimes. But, maybe that was Harris's, once he gets that fixed, that'll be his caterpillar blossoming into the butterfly, the beautiful butterfly kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I saw the comment about not everyone has money for lasers. I mean, when it comes to skincare, some of those items at Sephora can be very expensive to purchase. So maybe when Olivia is mentally mentioning the dermatologist, she's also thinking she might give him a birthday gift, or, hey, your book is published. Here's a gift for your skin. So when you go on book tour, you feel confident. We don't know if I'm just speculating here, but I like the fact that you're mentioning, yeah, money can be a factor in real life, but maybe for Olivia in the book, Harris can bypass that issue a little bit. Okay, so this was something that I noticed as well, and I actually did my typical thing where I went on Goodreads to try and see what people are commenting so I can prepare for anything you guys bring up. And this was something that was referenced in sorry, Hillary, but you had a few 1-star and 2-star reviews. And in most of those write-ups, people mentioned that there was swearing and that it didn't feel cozy. And so I noticed right away when there was some swearing, because every time I come across it in a cozy mystery, it's almost a little jarring because I'm not expecting it. So I did notice the swearing, and she got a little steamy in there with Laurel and her writing. I don't know if she could have just said, and Laurel finished her book, reading the chapter. I don't know if that would have been sufficient because everyone else was reading from their books. But yes, this definitely has a little bit of wink, wink, nudge, nudge moments for a cozy mystery. Even just throwing out that the brother's a cocaine addict. You could have just said drug addict. You got really specific there with the type of drug. So I'm taking it off to you guys. What do you think?
I mean, I kind of thought the same thing. And especially, yeah, exactly, Regina. They're like cozies with an edge, And we were talking earlier too, like about the Secret Book and Scone Society. It's not really cozy. It is more women's lit in a way. But yeah, with this, there are the cozy elements, but there are a lot of, not spacey, but you definitely know what's going on. And even as we get a little farther into the other books, yeah.
The way you say that, I'm going, can you give us a for instance or a for example?
Let's just say she doesn't leave it. I mean, we know what's going on behind closed doors for sure. Yeah.
So it's not just a matter of she spent the night at his house.
I mean, it's been a long time since I read them. Like I said, I read them as they came out, but yeah, it's not, the next morning after I left kind of thing. So.
Well, I mean, I think one of the ways cozy mysteries not circumvents, but makes it okay or passable, and I wish there was a better way of phrasing that, is when it's the character they end up with. Like, okay, we're seeing the evolution of their relationship. It's almost as if it's not, I don't know how to phrase it. I wish that there was a better way of looking at it, but that's how it comes across to me, is it's okay because they're the end goal. Like, they're the end result. Like, their relationship, they're married, they're happy, they got their HEA. And I noticed that with some of the books. I was paying attention to that with other ones. I want to say it's Linda O. Johnson's. It has to do with the Barkery. It's a bakery, and also they're the treats for the dogs. So it's the Barkery. The character spends the night at his place, and you know exactly what's going on, even though it's not explicit. But he proposes in the final book of the series. That's in the book blurb. I'm not giving you a spoiler. It's literally in the book blurb. And it's like, yes, everything leading up to this was meant to be, sort of thing. So I think that's one of the ways that they kind of, I don't know, give you a little bit of a, oh, this is the guy she's going to end up with.
Right.
It's almost like if that happens, they're the end game. But I don't think I'm curious now if somebody can give me a reference or knows of this, but I don't think I've read one where our leading lady, our main sleuther, spends the night with somebody and they're not the end relationship. I know it's happened before the story starts because we've had our we've had the miserable marriages, the ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends. We've had those relationship stories, but those aren't usually on the page. Those have happened previously. So if you can give me an example, I would love to know. Ooh, more comments. Okay, so we have edgy cozies. Is this like a spectrum that we're going with of Hallmark to what's the other spectrum reference?
I don't know. Maybe just the edge of traditional.
Yeah.
Opposed to cozy. And I agree with Cat Mom. She had said, I saw her comment come up a little bit ago that she didn't notice the language. I didn't either, I have to say, but that's because my mouth isn't always the cleanest. So I didn't notice it.
I like this one. Hallmark versus HBO.
Okay.
I love that. Yeah. That's a good reference. So we have Hallmark down here with our Christmas cozy mystery movies. Then you get HBO where you got True Blood and you get all that. So that's a good reference. I like that. But I don't know. For everyone who's watched The Office, again, I've seen every episode so many times, but Michael was talking about when it was Bring Your Daughter to Work Day about how this isn't kid-friendly environment. This is HBO. Like, he has that reference. You just made me think of that and made me very, very happy. Maybe like The Office is the middle ground somewhere in the mix. That was great. Okay, Hallmark to Lifetime. Hallmark versus soap opera. I like how we've all just established that Hallmark is the baseline.
Yeah.
We're like, we accept that Hallmark is it.
Like my husband always says for the Hallmark movies, he's like, they don't even kiss until the very end. Mm-hmm. Like, that's true. There's always the almost kiss, but then it's only at the end.
Interrupted for whatever reason. Yeah.
Exactly.
This is interesting. New genre, literary cozy mystery. I think that maybe there should be some unofficial way of maybe presenting, like if you see certain colors in the book cover. I think that this is kind of going on, but not like to making it official. I always think if it has a darker book cover with the colors where it's got the blacks and the blues, I'm thinking Agatha Christie, the murders could be a little bit more vicious. Things are a little bit darker. And if it's just all cheery pastels, it should feel cheery, but it's not always the case. It is with some of them, but not always. Yeah. But it would be nice if there was a way to say, like, this is the cozy mystery that has all the smiles and puns. This is the one where, we're going a little bit more True Blood. I like how you guys are saying. Yes, True Blood was Charlene Harris inspired. Charlene Harris wrote the Suki Stackhouse series. But, I mean, it's very provocative. I don't know what the word would be. There's a lot of skin shown, a lot of...
Let's just say I'm not watching it with my mom.
Okay, BBC. That's another good reference. I think in the Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do always, when people ask me, what are you writing? And I say cozy mystery, and they look at me like, huh? Mm-hmm. I always say it's like the Hallmark mysteries.
Me too.
And then everybody's like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. And I love that we just did the exact same face.
That's weird.
This was what I was thinking of so Mama Rocks, I'm thinking on the same level as you. When On Borrowed Crime by Kate Young, that was the book that I was thinking of because it had the dark colors with the blues with the book cover. Yeah. That was the exact book I was describing when I was mentioning that. So same, great minds think alike. Okay, so I'm just gonna say I liked True Blood. It was not a bad reference. I watched the show. Alexander Skarsgård came out of True Blood. I mean,
I like a little bit of dark and edgy.
Yeah, we watched it.
That.
So. Yeah. I mean, the Conjuring movies are some of our favorite movies.
I was just saying it was not meant to be like a dig at True Blood. I don't want anyone to take it out of context because I saw people mentioning True Blood. I'm like, I watched the show. I mean, I remember there was a point when Sephora did an eyeshadow palette inspired by it. And I'm like, okay, I'm buying this thing. And like, I never used it because I was so like, oh, this is such a great idea. And it's referencing the show. Like, I don't know where it is at my parents' house, but I bought an eyeshadow palette just because. I mean, I liked the show. I just wanted to throw that out there because I saw the True Blood reference popping up, like it was not meant to be any sort of dig. It was a good show. And yes, thank you, Marta. So Alexia Gordon is going to be here at BoucherCon, and I saw this pop up and I was so excited because I felt like I did something right because y'all chose Murder in G Major as one of our book club reads. But I literally had just had it turned into a podcast episode the day before she announced it was becoming a movie. And I was going, oh my gosh, I just did this. I just did that podcast episode. I'm so excited that it's available for people because I'm thinking, oh, if they needed the content, it's right there for them. I was so pumped when I saw that.
I love that series. So good.
And plus, aren't you excited? I mean, what is it? What if it was Tia or Tamara? One of the Mary twins is going to be the star. And I was so pumped.
That's awesome.
I think I grew up watching Sister Sister. And then during COVID, I did the rewatch. And I think I watched all the episodes in like a week or something. So I'm really excited who the actress is in the series as well. So I'm very pumped to watch this Hallmark movie.
That's so exciting.
I don't get Hallmark anymore because of the way our different streaming devices, and I've got to figure out how to get that movie. There's got to be a way I can just buy the movie or something.
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy that this book is getting the spotlight, and I'm hoping that I run into Alexia Gordon here because I'm trying to think how to phrase this. She reminds me of one of those authors who's so deliberate with their stories, where you might only have 4 or 5 books in a series, but they are so well done. You're like, it is so worth the time and effort. You're like, this is writing. This is great. And you're so happy because everything just comes together and all the details matter. And again, I love my details. She's so talented. I'm going, this could not have happened to somebody she's so talented, so sweet. Like, I'm just giving her all the praise. Like, it happened like to the best person. I mean, this is just so wonderful. I'm so glad Hallmark is giving her this opportunity and shining a light on her series. I'm just thinking like they chose a great author to feature. I'm just like, all the applause. I wish I had like an applause button or something to show that. I'm just so happy that they're giving her the spotlight. Yeah, I want more cozies to be picked up. We'll see.
Right? Yes.
I know.
Okay, so it is tomorrow. Okay, I mean, I knew Maori. I knew it was one of the twins. I just didn't remember which one. Off the top of my head. They're so cute, and they both done Hallmark before. I'm pretty sure one of them had a TV show at one point. Yeah, I'm so happy for her. I'm so glad it was picked up. Oh, yes. Oh, this is a good one. The Domestic Diva. That would be a good series. I also think our Paws and Claws, like again, another Chris Davis, is a good one. But yeah, I'm really excited for her. So maybe we'll have to do a watch along or, live tweet for the premiere or something. Or, I mean, we'll have to figure something out because we read this as a book club and it's a great series. So got to do something to celebrate this.
Yeah.
Yes, please add this to your TBR. So you're new to Cozies, Murder in G Major, very well done. This is the only thing I don't like. They changed narrators for the audiobooks. So if you listen to book 1 as an audio, it is a different narrator for book 2. And it's just, that bugs me. It has nothing to do with the story, but that was just hard for me as somebody listening to an audiobook. Anyway, total tangent digression moment. Anyway, what else did you want to talk about?
Oops, sorry, that was loud.
So there was a time, and I even wrote down the page number, page 122. I was reading the paperback. There was a time where I thought that Malay had something that she was hiding and she could have been involved in the murders too, because there was a couple of things she said that made it sound like she was related to the Talbots. So we found out that she was from a wealthy family. She went to an expensive boarding school, which is completely against her character at this point that we've been shown. But she had said something, and I think this was before Dean was killed, about, and I don't remember what Dean's name was, but she said, I can't believe she's still married to that cheating scumbag Dean. And it made me think, ooh, is Dean's wife Malay's sister, or what is it? But then again, correct me if I'm wrong and I'm just misremembering or skipped it, that was never addressed.
Yeah. I never thought they were related, but I thought maybe she went to school with the kids, or because she said she went to a private school. But I definitely thought she knew the family, like that there was a connection there, and that somehow, you're right, that she was holding something back. But I mean, wasn't she holding something? Didn't she tell them later on that she knew there was something she knew? I can't remember what it was. And then Olivia's like, why didn't you tell us sooner about something that had happened?
There was something. What was that?
It wasn't related to the Talbots, but she was keeping something. But yeah, you're right. I thought,
it was about Jethro Bragg.
Yes.
The fisherman, that she knew that he wasn't the murderer.
Right.
He wasn't there.
But yeah, that's a good point. I did think that she knew the Talbots because of the whole circle of, being rich and, the boarding school and all that stuff. But I didn't think about, were they related or something like that. That's a good point.
Just thought maybe I missed something when I read, but
yeah. Before the other people started dying, way before the Talbot father died, a little tiny part of me was worried that Cosmo really wasn't coming from LA, but that he had already been there, and that he had something to do with Camden dying. Because I'm like, he seemed a little too perfect. You know what I mean? And like, is he putting this grieving thing on? Because I'm like, please don't be innocent. Don't be fake and everything. But a little tiny part of me thought he was involved somehow.
I had that thought as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And glad that was not the case.
No, because I loved him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this is going to sound so random. And again, this is one of those, sometimes authors will play into stereotypes. And then when you see something, you're like, wait a second, is this going to be the thing? So for some reason, whenever it comes to fashion, if there's some sort of designer or high-end luxury item, it's usually in reference to one of the women in town who's uppity and makes judgments or something. And that's part of the persona of, she's got her Dior or Fendi handbag and spends thousands of dollars on her appearance. And I, for some reason, when he was introduced, he had a Louis Vuitton garment bag. And I'm going, I mean, I love Louis Vuitton. I love their purses. They're so beautiful. But I had that moment of, oh my God, she referenced a designer brand. Is this supposed to be indicative of something? And it wasn't. But I think other books have traumatized me to the point where I instantly see a designer name like that and I'm going, should I be concerned? And in the meantime, I'm thinking, I love Louis Vuitton. Like I'm a fan. Gucci has wonderful designs. Their purses are stunning. It's not actually something that I think is bad. I mean, if you have that type of money and you can spend it, go you. But I mean, I saw the Louis Vuitton garment bag reference and I just stopped reading, dead in my tracks.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What's going to happen?
Yes.
Because of that.
Yeah. See, it was little things like that I'm like, yeah. And I guess I didn't think, I don't know, something about it was like, why? I don't know. Something just seemed off, but I'm so glad he wasn't. Yeah.
He was so cute and he was so sweet to her. He was so appreciative of her help. He didn't feel as if he was entitled to it. He didn't think she had ulterior motives. He was so genuine. And I remember there was one scene where they were talking about him falling asleep. He had a lot of wine at the end of the day because he had to deal with the funeral arrangements and everything else. And they're just going, we're going to let him sleep. And it wasn't as if he was in the hotel room doing nefarious things, plotting the next murder. He was literally just a man who's had a very bad day and went to sleep early. I was happy that was the case.
Yeah. See, and this is another one of those little things that I thought did kind of show Olivia did have a bit of a softer side where she's like, don't send one of your officers to pick him up at the airport. Let me go get him as a friend of Camden's, so I can, it'll be easier just having a regular person go and get him, and so he can have somebody to talk to. I'll take him to, the hotel or whatever. I don't know.
Well, she did have an ulterior motive because she wanted to be able to get Camden's room.
True. She did.
But she was very good with him. And I love the scene in closer to the end where she just calls him to check up on him after he's already returned to California.
Right. Yeah.
That was really sweet. I was trying to find the answer to this question. I was going back and because I have the window open because I have the ebooks. I was looking in the window. I forget what kind of book Harris was working on. Sci-fi. Okay. I totally forgot off the top of my head.
Wasn't it like some kind of in the future?
He had this sort of society that he created. I remember it was something different, but I couldn't remember if it was fantasy or sci-fi, and I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But I saw this comment, and it's so true. They just connected. They just became friends so fast. But when she did follow up with him, I think that's where you got the character growth, and you got to see her be a little bit sweeter and gentler and softer. But it wasn't as if, okay, he's gone. He's off the page now. We don't have to worry about him. I liked that Ellery Adams had that reference because it made it feel more realistic to me. Like, you don't just meet someone, connect with them, have all these, poignant moments and then go, bye. Like, you don't just let them go out of your life forever.
Have a nice life.
See ya. I mean,
good luck with your life. Yeah.
Even with your flip phone, you can call them. So
yeah. I always thought Annie was a little standoffish. I don't know if it's because do you think she was intimidated by Olivia, or I don't know. She seemed really nice, but I don't know what it was. Did you guys get that feeling?
Well, she was harboring the murderer.
Well, that's true.
She didn't know it.
This is true. I mean, I guess I'd be acting a little strange myself, but
No, I just thought she was a quieter person. And
that's true. Not everybody's like me.
I think everyone's intimidated by Olivia.
True. Except Michelle or whatever.
And Dixie. Dixie doesn't care.
Not yet.
Dixie doesn't. Dixie is her own person. But I just liked this. So I think the reason why I mentioned the luxury brands is because there are a lot of fashion-related cozy mysteries that have to do with secondhand stores or finding things on sale or at garage sales. So I think that's where the negative fashion of, oh, you just paid $10,000 for a purse versus we found this at the garage sale for 25 cents. So it's just a different take on it. But again, I'm now excited to go read about this fashionable sleuther. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? They even made it into a movie for Lifetime. It was killer hair and killer fashion. Maggie Lawson from Psych was the leading lady for the Lifetime adaptation. She's a fashion columnist. Great series. I'm blanking on, I think the first name is Ellen something, but it is a great series. She's very fashionable and she does dress up because she's living in Washington, D.C. and she does have her designer brand. So it does exist, but it's just not typical. Anywho, moving on. We love the dog.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't mess with the dog. And this one was so well behaved. I'm not sure I loved all of the human food being given to said dog, but it was almost as if it was a reward for all the good behavior, so I'm letting it slide.
Well, even the vet, she had said how the vet doesn't like that. She lets him eat all of that stuff.
But okay, so I feel as if I'm going, I think all my notes have been said. So if you have any notes, please mention them because I just think all of mine have been said. Thank you. Okay. Regina, I knew you would know this. Regina is her fashionable self. Yep. Thank you. It's the Lacey Smithsonian. I knew. Thank you.
She's on it.
Well, she's the fashionista, so I knew she was going to have my back. It's one of those, every so often I think readers understand, but you have to be a reader, not, oh, I read 5 books this year. If you read 5 books a week, you get it when you've read a book and you're going, I love this book. It was so great. And someone asks you to describe it, and you're going, I forget what it's called.
I don't know.
I loved it.
I know.
Like I had that brain fart moment of, it's a great series and it's a great character. I know it's set in DC and it's fashion. Oh, only readers understand. Okay, yes, this was one of my notes, but I wasn't going to bring the topic up because it is very, very, very sad. So, our leading lady, Olivia, her mother died in a tragic car accident, and her father left them mysteriously. But the mother's car accident occurred during a storm when she went to go pick up a puppy as a gift for her daughter. And then they gave the dog away because it, quote unquote, lived. That was the reason. And I was so unhappy because I'm thinking that's all the more reason to keep the dog. Especially because I almost felt like the mother died for the dog in a way, or to make the daughter happy by getting her a dog, and giving the dog away seemed like the worst thing to do. And that just, it was not mentioned after that scene, but it was so sad.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, all the comments. It was heartbreaking. It was so sad.
I'm still a little unclear on how soon after her mom died that her dad disappeared and how she was found in a boat. There was a...
Was it a couple years afterwards? And it's like she and her dad were out in his fishing boat or whatever. He was really drunk, wasn't it? And then he was getting really angry, and she thought for the first time she thought he was going to hit her, even though he had never done it before. And it sounded like she jumped in his little boat that was, moored next to the boat, and she took off. Like she said, she started rowing away. So yeah, it just seemed kind of weird that as like, what was she, 10, that she got in the boat and started rowing away. And then days later,
9, I think, not yet.
Yeah, somebody days later, thought it was the same year. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm not sure. So
there was times in the book, that's why I think I'm unclear about it too, that it made it sound like it was a couple years later, but then there was other times it was mentioned that it sounded like it was like almost immediate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Regina. There's a lot of this, it goes on and on and on. There's a lot of different stuff.
It's hard for me to look at this book and think of it as a standalone. I felt as if it was the beginning of a book. It reminds me of if someone took a Game of Thrones book and just like gave you the first 12 chapters and like, this is the book. And you're going, what about all the rest of this? So you're like, isn't that a part of this narrative?
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking like, I almost feel as if this, in my head, I need like the first 3 books are one. Then it has books 4 to 6 as one. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. I thought this was the first installment in the series in a way.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was still left with questions. I also want to know who gets published and what their stories are, what they become.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I have to reread the series because there's things I remember and there's things I don't.
It was the same year.
The same year. So.
I was not even going to guess. That was something that went right over my head. I was not sure of that detail whatsoever. That was something that I didn't even consider. And there were a few times when I was traveling and I put the book down. So I'm thinking that might have been one of those details that escaped me. So I appreciate you guys knowing that right off the top.
I'm thinking, did I fall asleep while I was reading that?
Well, and some of it was confusing because she was having dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She kept having dreams, and I too was thinking, because I did listen to it. I got the audiobook from the library. So, I had downloaded that. So I'm like, listening to it, and then I would go on my Kindle and read it. And then I'm like, I got kind of confused when I was listening to it. Like, is this the dream part? Is this the, actual memory? So,
well, yeah. And then the chapters of the writers in there as
Right.
well.
Right.
Because I think the chapters of the writers were also in italics, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they were presented in the same way. So you're like, is this the dream? Oh, wait, no, this is a dragon in it. Maybe she's just dreaming about dragons and she's changing this course of her historical novel. I know. I have to say, like, I know I just took the view away from y'all and I feel badly, but I do think I was in the perfect location to read this book because I went on a whale watch and there's a lighthouse right on the end, and they said it's the furthest lighthouse most south in the United States, and because Mexico is right there across. So they were talking about the lighthouse, and then I see the book cover and I'm going, hey, like this was meant to be the book and I was meant to be here reading it. So I felt very, very fortunate to have seen a lighthouse and then read about them. It looks like we have a lot of Ellery Adams fans in the house over here. People talking about reading the rest, doing rereads. I was going to say she was very popular this year with y'all. I'm going to pull it up because I don't want to misspeak about it because we have had some of her books in the past, but I'm trying to remember which one. Yeah, so this year we did Pies and Prejudice and then A Killer Plot, but I know we've also read her some of the other books as well, and I'm thinking way back when I'm thinking 2017, 2018. I know it's here somewhere. Murder in the Mystery Suite. And then I think there was another one as well. But again, this woman is very prolific. So it's hard to keep track of all the titles. And even then, sometimes I'll remember the titles and not necessarily the author, which I feel bad about. As someone who loves authors and wants to celebrate them, I always have to look it up. But I'm trying to see if there was another one in the mix because I know we've read her a few times. And she always seems to do well with y'all, which is nice. I'm glad you guys are liking the books we read. Oh, yeah, The Secret Book and Scone Society, of course. That was the other one. I should have known that off the top of my head, but it's okay. I'm just going to blame that on a little jet lag. I looked it up. I just wanted to make sure. I never want to give you all bad information. Yes. Yep. So you got my back. And thank you. That is the lighthouse. Thank you. I knew there was a name. And I keep making mistakes because I always want to say it's a different island name. So there's an island here, but I keep wanting to rename it. It's called the Carbon, because I'm going to get it someday. I don't even remember off the top of my, ignore me.
Did you see any whales?
So we got to see some of the humps and tails, but there was a pod of dolphins where there was probably 100 of them, and they were jumping up and out of the water. It was so amazing. I took a video of stories for y'all, but the dolphins were the best part of the whale watch. Honestly, the whale watch, very little happened whale-wise. It was great to see like 50 people staring at the ocean waiting for something because you'd all of a sudden see a little flick of a tail and then nothing for 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you see water go up in the air and then they were gone. I honestly would have been happy just hanging out in the dolphin area the whole time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cat Mom knows her stuff. Coronado. That was exactly what I was looking up because you guys are great. I appreciate you. That's exactly the one I was going to get it confused with. Thank you. This is why we get along. Okay, maybe it's just because I've never been to San Diego before. I never really looked up things to do in San Diego before, but I didn't know about that island, and I thought it's really nice. It's beautiful, but I had never known about. I didn't have any knowledge about it, but apparently y'all do. So maybe we need more cozy mysteries set in San Diego. Yeah. I was like, Cat Mom says she's lived here for 12 years, or she lived there for 12 years. I think she should write a book. She should write a cozy in San Diego. And I love that you guys knew that. And I'm trying to Google, and it wants to know if what did it ask me if I put in? I think it said the carbonara pasta. Like, that is how bad.
Yes, please, but not what I'm looking for.
That's why I didn't say anything. I was typing into Google and I'm going, okay. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, that might be a good premise. I don't know who wants to write that novel, but maybe in a future BoucherCon, you can be presenting and signing that book. I don't know how this topic came about. I don't even remember. But I know we have read Ellery Adams. I looked that up. Y'all have my back with that one. But yeah, I don't think, there aren't any more this year. But you guys reminded me because we were talking about previous reads. So this year, instead of using Twitter, I was working on putting together a Google form or a Google poll for our future to be read list for 2024. So that is what I would like to do this year. And I wanted to kind of mention it tonight, get your feedback because I have been working on it. It's laid out. It looks very nice so far. And what I did was I have the month, I have the theme explaining I can always pull it up, but I have the theme like January is the titles that almost won in previous book polls. They're second round, second chance titles. And so I have the sentence explaining the theme, and then I have the books as drop downs, and you can click on it and vote. And so I've been working on it, so it's ready to go for the most part. But the reason why I wanted to kind of bring it up tonight is because, one, Twitter has become very problematic, and there have been technological issues. I don't know what the changing of the logo was. I have concerns, and I thought this would be the safest way to go because I would not want to do Instagram highlights and I would not want to do a YouTube poll. I thought this would be the best way to present it to y'all so that regardless of platform, regardless of what social media you use, you can take part in this vote. So you don't even need to register your email. I'm not asking for any personal identifiable information. I mean, I'm sure someone's thinking, oh, you can vote more than once. I mean, I'm going to just trust y'all to be the kind individuals that you are, the honor system. I mean, but if there's one book you love so much, you're like, I must vote twice. I mean, what am I going to, if that is what's going to make you happy, I mean, I don't love it, but I'll never know. So like, what am I going to do about it? So I've been doing the Google form. It has taken me so long to work on this. I'm actually going to open it in another window. So if you see my eyes dart, that's what I'm pulling up. So I've been working on this for a very long time because there's a lot of information. And what I specifically did that was different is that underneath the Twitter polls, I would include the Goodreads links. And so I'm including them in each of the polls as well. So every single book also has the Goodreads information there so that you can I pull this up? Is this it? Oh, Google Drive, please work for me. I think I mentioned off camera. I don't know if I mentioned this to y'all, but for some reason, Instagram kept saying I was temporarily blocked because I was using the DM feature and I was typing too quickly. So that's why I'm going, oh, Google, please don't give me problems too. Please don't do this to me. Okay. Yeah, here it is. So what I was also going to do was I was going to make each I'm telling you the layout. I'm giving you all the behind the scenes details. I was going to make each month and give it its own kind of page. So after each month, you would hit the arrow and go to the next one. So it's not going to be a scroll system because I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed with it. So, I mean, everything from the layout to the presentation of this, I've been trying to be very, very thoughtful. So for instance, right here, it says section 12, December 2024. It says holiday titles and winter themed books. And then I even have the 12 Days of Cozies reference. And then what I have is, it says, what would you like our December book club read to be? should I just tell you? I'm going to give you guys the true behind the scenes. I'll tell you some of the titles here. So we have The Christmas Murder Game. We have A Spoonful of Murder, Live, Local, and Dead, and Saddled with Murder. The author names are here as well, but I don't want to mispronounce anything. So underneath that, I have the text add-on option, and each title is hyperlinked to bring you to the Goodreads page. So I hope that the way I've kind of been breaking it down so far seems to make sense and you like this approach. So I'm kind of giving you the option to give some feedback or let me know what you guys think. Okay, comments are coming in. I'm seeing things, but that's what I've been working on. So I just want to kind of mention that because, okay, people, you hate Twitter. I'm glad. Okay, you guys seem to like this. So that makes me very happy. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm blushing. I'm very happy that you like this. So I'm trying to be very mindful and thoughtful with this approach. So yes, my goal is to have the September newsletter come out and have the Google form reveal. So the Google form for voting will be there. And what I thought I would do is I thought I would leave it the entire month of September. And that there are a few reasons for that. One, I'm mentioning it to you guys tonight for August. And two, for the September live stream, that's going to be kind of like the bookends of like, I mentioned it first in August and I'm mentioning it again. So you can get those last minute votes in case you forgot or whatever. But again, I can promote it across platforms. So again, hopefully people will see at least one reference to it and click on it so that they don't feel left out. And I always have that moment of, okay, I get distracted. I know other people probably do as well. So you have plenty of time if I leave it for the month of September. So I'm hoping that's enough. So I'm looking at the comments now. But if you guys have any ideas, I'd love for the feedback. Okay, so we have this. We have, when are Paula and Annie's books out? I'd vote for those.
That's so sweet.
Okay. You guys are making me feel so much better. Okay. I'm very happy to see these comments. I'm glad you guys like the idea. I hadn't revealed this yet because I was working on it because it was different from the previous voting system that was in place, but I'm really glad you guys seem to be happy about the Google form idea. So that is such a relief. I was really nervous about it actually. So I'm really glad that you guys like this idea. I think that you just
I think it's a great workaround.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think I just exhaled like, oh, okay, they like the idea. Because I never want to upset anyone. I never want to do anything that's going to make it difficult or hard to comprehend or hard to remember. So I'm hoping that this was a good approach. So I'm glad so far everyone's on board. And when I do submit this now, I'll feel much more secure because sometimes when I'm doing the newsletter, I very much get concerned of, okay, I hope I explained this properly. So I'm glad you guys like it. That makes me happy.
I think that sounds so much easier because I cannot stand Twitter. I've never been able to, I've never been able to do it very well. So no, I think this sounds so easy.
Oh, I just saw this comment. Oh, your auto buy authors.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
Yes, so I'm hoping you guys are mentioning the voting. So I know I'm here at BoucherCon. I am hoping my goal, I always have goals. If they're attainable, that's a whole separate issue. But my goal is to send it out, the very first week in September. And if I can do it, so again, I'm going to pull up the calendar because I don't want to misspeak. But I was thinking my goal would be to send it on September 1st. I might even schedule it in the next 2 days before everything kicks off with BoucherCon, but I'm going to include the email newsletter with the Google form. And to answer the question that just popped up, yes, you would actually be voting for all 12 books in one sitting. So that's why I mentioned why I was working on the format and really trying to give this a lot of thought. I was very meticulous with this. So essentially what's going to happen is you're going to have the month, the theme explained, you're going to have the books, and then underneath the one poll, it's going to be the one kind of box. Underneath that, you're going to have multiple boxes with each of the titles hyperlinked to bring you to their Goodreads page. So if you want more information, want to see the book cover, etc., you're brought right there. And then once you click on it, you hit the arrow, you're going to be brought to the next month. So each month is going to have its own little page because otherwise I think it looks very intimidating. And it looks a little much when you see all of those little boxes if you keep scrolling that way. So essentially you're going to hit the arrow a few times, which I hope is okay with you. Yes,
so much
12
work.
and 1. You're not going to have to wait long either.
Gosh.
So yeah, that's also why it was taking me a very long time to do this Google, to put this all together. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys like this. I think you just made me feel so relieved. I was very nervous because I changing a system is never something that's easy. I wanted to make it better, so I'm glad it's an improved system. So,
yeah.
Paula, where'd you go? Oh no, please.
Paula and I have country internet, and this happens all the time when we Zoom with each other.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, she's gone. Okay, we're gonna give her a couple seconds we're gonna give her time to come back. So let me, there she is. Okay. Oh, wait, it says device not, there we go. Hey, you got bumped up. Hey, different layout now.
Been misbehaving.
I told him that we have country internet and this happens to us all the time.
I have to say, every day that I've
you guys have been freezing on me and stuff. I just keep like.
Did the wildfires do anything to your internet and all that stuff?
Yeah, talking to me, talking to Paula.
Oh, to Paula. Did the wildfires?
I don't have wildfires. You must have frozen again.
I think
if you can hear me, because things are really weird.
Yeah.
Am I frozen? Can you hear me?
You're just fuzzy. Could you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That commercial with the cell phone? Flip phones.
Oh, honey.
Okay, maybe. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The wildfire, yeah, it's all taken care of. The one that was super close to us.
Yeah.
So, and then we got some really good rain for a few minutes today. It wasn't very long, but yay.
Good. I didn't know if it messed up your internet or anything.
Oh, no, my internet's just always messed up.
Well, I mean, I know that. Mine's terrible too.
And I think, like late in the afternoon and the evening too, when more people in our area get home and get on their internet, it's even worse.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
No.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah. Paula had a wildfire like half a mile from her house. So
I'm glad you're okay and your house is okay. And
thank you.
Yeah,
it started out as a house fire, and as far as I know, I mean that house burnt and those people's barn burnt, but as far as I know, that is the only structures. It ended up being like 42 acres, but yeah,
it's scary.
Posting one more comment. I also don't want to forget to mention, because if anyone is here in San Diego, I don't want to forget to give Jennifer J. Chow the shout out she deserves. She's putting together a cozy mystery panel of unsung outlets and platforms and people. And so I'm going to be at this panel on September 1st, Friday at 11 o'clock. And I'm putting together little gift bags. So I have little swag. So I was actually trying to like get it. So if you guys come to the panel, you get a little swag bag as a thank you for coming. And again, I'm going to send one of these to Paula and Annie as a thank you for hosting night. Aww. But I had little enamel. They came out larger than I expected. I had enamel pins made up as a special swag item. So everyone who comes is going to get a little swag bag with a little enamel pin. So if you're here, please try and come. I have my little thank you present ready to go. I just want to make sure I reference that. And I also don't want to forget to mention, because I know she's here tonight and I'm not going to put her on the spot, but I have been working, I know Lori stopped by earlier, to try and organize stuff for the Paws and Claws read along so that people can do an Instagram live chat with one of our book club members the third Tuesday of the month. So the third Tuesday of the month, again, I thought this was a nice way to get different people involved, because there are only so many different things sometimes, and whether it's scheduling or whatever, if it's Instagram not allowing me to check DMs for whatever reason, honestly, so what ends up happening with Instagram, I use my computer for Instagram as much as humanly possible, because looking at it on my phone is so problematic, because I wear glasses and I get overwhelmed. But I try and look at it on the computer, and apparently I was typing too fast, or I was scrolling too fast, and it was mad at me. So this is the layout for the Paws and Claws read along. So those are the dates for the third Tuesday of the month, and hopefully book club members will go live on their Instagrams to talk about the books on those dates. So I will keep you posted with more information on that, but that is something that's also in the works. I didn't want to forget to mention that. Just wanted to throw that out there. But now I'm also still worried about Paula. I was trying to make sure I mentioned that, but I'm like, my mind goes back to you. I want to make sure you're okay.
I'm fine.
I was like, send some coziness your way to brighten your day.
Aw.
Yeah, so if you want to volunteer, I'll include them again in this month's newsletter. So let's see if I can get this all correct off the top of my head. There's the 12 Days of Cozies Google interest form for authors. There's the Cozy Corner chat Google interest form for future Twitter events. So the second Tuesday of every month, hopefully the author Twitter chats will pick up again and they'll be ready to chat on Twitter live with y'all and answer questions. Just because Twitter has issues and I'm not using it for voting doesn't mean I'm dropping it entirely. I post a lot over there. So don't unfollow or drop off Twitter quite yet. I still think that it has its uses. And I believe there's also a form to sign up to do giveaways or things like that. And then there's, again, I'm giving you guys a lot in these newsletters. That's why I'm going, please open them, because there's a lot of info there. And so the last one is an option for just people in the book club if you want to get involved or say how you're willing to get involved. So there are options of like, I'd be willing to do a podcast. I'd be willing to do an Instagram live or host YouTube. Like I have all the drop down things so you can choose what you're comfortable with. I think there's even the option that says, I can write a blog post or I can do this, or you can just write it in or DM me or tell me, like whatever's easiest for you. But I have those options as well. So if you want to volunteer or do something, just let me know. So I'm starting to lose my voice. So if you guys want to give anyone a last minute little, I'm going to pull it up again because I don't want to, you guys deserve all the credit and shout outs. This is Paula's Instagram handle. And she also has her email newsletter, and Annie has her newsletter, and this is her Instagram. So I'm going to kick it over to Annie and Paula if there's any last things regarding your platforms or upcoming books, which is so exciting.
I just want to say, make sure you follow Annie on all of her platforms, her newsletter, her everything, because you are going to want to hear about these Northwoods, Wisconsin cozy mysteries she has coming soon. Like really soon.
Thank you. And same with Miss Paula down here. Oh my gosh, her books are so good. Her Zen Goat, what is it, March now?
March 12th.
Coming out in March. And then Hammers and Homicide. Oh, so good. It's so good. I beta read it, but then I also read the ARC. And oh my gosh, they're so good. You're going to love it. The cozy cover, just everything. So, and then been reading a little bit of the next one that's coming out or will be coming out. So, it's such a good series. So it gives you all the feels. So yeah, make sure. And her newsletters are so good. They're so much fun. So yeah, make sure you sign up for that.
I'm gonna say I don't think I'm crazy. I hope I'm not misremembering this, but I believe there was an adorable photo of a goat in her last newsletter. Unless it was on your Instagram, but you had a goat photo somewhere, and I loved it, and I think it was in your newsletter. And she's nodding, so I am correct. It was so stinking cute. I think I had the biggest smile on my face because you're reading goat photo.
That's Frankie. She lives at my house. Well, she lives in the barnyard. She doesn't live in the house, but she would be happy to live in the house if I would let her.
Oh my gosh.
It just made me so happy. I'm reading in the newsletter. I'm enjoying it. I love Paula. So everything she does, I'm on her side and I'm rooting for her. All of a sudden, goat photo. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever. It just made me so happy.
So I have to say, so one of the things that we talked about, like when, Captain Haviland got poisoned, in my first Zen Goat mystery, the goat, the star in that is, Frankie has a little part, but the star in that is Bugsy. And he accidentally eats something, laps up something he shouldn't eat, and it puts him to sleep. That does happen in that book. He is not harmed. I want to say that. So if any of you get my first Zen Goat mystery book in March, which is going to be called An Escape Goat, keep reading. He's not harmed. Don't be mad at me.
Scoop right
Don't
now.
Be mad.
Don't send her emails and blow up her DMs.
He's going to be
you guys are in the know. You know first. Like I feel like we just got the inside sneak exclusive info here.
Shoot.
I
no
also know
goats
that
were
you
harmed in the making of this novel.
They were just admired and cuddled.
They were just put to sleep for a minute.
even phrasing it that way could be suspect.
I know. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, wait, not
Like, they
not
just
what I meant.
close their eyes for a second or two.
Yeah. Had
As,
it now.
as I always say to my kids, Mom's just going to rest her eyes for just a minute. Just a minute. Bugsy just rested his eyes for a minute.
Yeah.
So
That's
all
all.
it was.
Like, he just zoned out. It's fine. We're good.
The vet was called. The vet verified everything's fine.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I like that. That's so stinking cute.
We've had the best comments tonight. These are awesome.
See, I have to admit, and I mentioned this before, I don't see all the comments when they pop up because sometimes there are a lot of them and they just keep coming. And I feel so badly if there's a comment there that's very eloquent or thoughtful or just entertaining and I don't post it. I don't mean to miss it. It's not like I'm ignoring you intentionally, but I always go back and read the comments to put together the giveaway entries. And I find so many comments that I missed and they make me so happy. And y'all are just the best. I end up finding comments that are so sweet and thoughtful or complimentary. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I wish I saw this sooner. You just made me, like, you literally will make me cry or with happiness or cry with emotion. I mean, you guys are so cute. I love your comments. Like, they make me so happy. So thank you for commenting and participating. And like, there's a reason why they're mentioning this. Like, Paula and Annie have good, like, they have good taste, and they're mentioning your comments. Like, they like them for a reason too. But no, please do follow them across social media platforms. The email newsletter. I'm signed up. You can join the fun, the club. I know they have. So you have your Instagrams. I think you have Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, I always pause where I'm like, I think I remembered this correctly.
Yes.
But they are awesome. So they have their websites, which are also beautifully designed. I love the layouts, the way you guys have them formatted. They are very visually appealing. The aesthetic is wonderful. So check out their websites for all of the information, their email newsletters, their Instagrams. And I think I answered hopefully all of the questions pertaining to the Cozy Mystery Book Club. If you have any others, please let me know because I will happily try and give you answers. I'm working on a lot of stuff, so I think you're up to date with everything. But if I left something out, I will try and post the announcement on Instagram and Twitter and include it in the email newsletter. So unless anyone has any other questions, thoughts, it might be time to sign off.
Thank you for having us again. This is so much fun.
No.
We love it.
Thank you for saying yes. I'm so appreciative of you too. I have to say, I'm going to give them a giant shout out here because all of a sudden I'm like, who's the co-host for August? And then I was never able to get back in touch with this co-host. And so I was going, oh my gosh, like, what am I, like, am I supposed to talk to the kid? I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm talking to her. I'm, having a moment. I'm going, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to. She's like, you loved Annie and Paula. And my mom watched the live stream that night and said, I love them. They were so entertaining. I'm going, of course, they're the answer. So, I mean,
thank you, Angela's mom.
I know. We like being mom approved.
We were.
Well, it was so funny because I'm like, because I paused, like, am I supposed to wait to hear back? Do I keep trying and reach? Because I always have those moments of, again, like, I'm thoughtful to the point where it's paralyzing, and she's just, go message them. What are you waiting for? Like, they're amazing, and I adore them. I had fun watching them. You had the best time talking with them. Like, I did have the best time talking with them, and I did again tonight.
Back at you.
I know. Well,
We're
we love
texting
each other and we love you. So
invite us back. Yay.
Oh my gosh. I was so happy when you said yes, because I felt like I was putting you on the spot. They only had a few weeks notice, and then they said yes without hesitation, and they made me so ridiculously happy. I'm going, yes. And then they're back and they're amazing, and you know exactly why I adore them so much and why I keep saying how amazing they are when I'm posting about them joining. And you can guarantee. So I'm going to put this out there live. You guys are going to be the witnesses for the 2024 vote off. I want them to come back for a 2024 live stream. So I want them to host again in 2024.
Anytime.
and they say live.
Not January, February, March, or April, probably. We're going to be busy.
We will be a little busy.
Well, 2024 has 12 months, so I'm hoping you can choose at least one. Hopefully we can make at least one work.
For sure. We can. We'll do it.
Definitely.
But I'm so happy that you guys said yes and joined tonight. You were so sweet and thoughtful, and I appreciate you coming so prepared with your notes and that you read the book, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And everyone tonight seems so happy with the characters being interesting and engaging, and I'm so glad you guys were able to join. I'm so appreciative to everyone watching, for you two for guest hosting. It is just, you guys put the biggest smile, clearly. Like I was saying, I posted the Instagram live as a reminder for the event, and I'm saying, tomorrow BoucherCon starts, and I feel like I'm kicking off this week of mystery fun in the best way possible. And it's so true. Like, this is, you guys just got me in the mindset. I'm so happy right now. I'm going, oh, this is the best, kicking off everything with the Sleuthing family, with Paula and Annie. So I'm just a happy little clam over here.
I'm very excited to see your posts.
Me too. Oh my gosh.
I'll try and keep you all up to date. I have to admit, I'm not the best when it comes to by the second updates with Instagram, because I always try and, you know, edit the lighting a little bit, make it more a little, you know, I'll just the angle a smidge. So I'll try and keep you guys up to date as best as I can, but I will definitely let y'all know what happens at BoucherCon. So if there's something you guys want, or an autograph, you know, something off the Annie knows. Annie has some behind the scenes knowledge about something I've been working on. So if there's an autograph,
wait, what?
I'll tell you off camera. She knows something. But if there's something you guys want done, I'm hoping you guys, you know, let me know. If you're here at BoucherCon, please say hi. I would love to give you a hug in person. So if you guys are here, please don't hesitate to walk up to me. They know you can literally like grab me off the elevator, and I'm fine with that.
That's what you have to do.
They can testify. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you to Paula and Annie for guest hosting tonight. You guys are amazing. So thank you. Please stay safe, healthy, happy, and have fun reading and sleuthing. And hopefully you can join us next month for another live stream discussion. So in the meantime, stay cozy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.